In the heart of a bustling town, there lived a skilled weaver named Clara. She crafted the most beautiful tapestries, each telling a tale of its own. Villagers from far and wide came to buy her intricate creations. One day, as Clara worked diligently on a particular delicate piece, a gust of wind blew through her window, scattering threads and tangling her work. Frustrated, she attempted to close the window, only for the wind to blow it open again. The entire day passed in the struggle, and by nightfall, Clara had made no progress on her tapestry. The next morning, Clara decided to relocate her loom to a room without windows. But the heat of summer made it unbearably stuffy. Sweat dripped from her brow, making the fine thread slippery and hard to work with. Again, her tapestry suffered. Feeling defeated, she visited the town's elder, Mara, seeking advice. Mara, having lived through many seasons and witnessed countless sunsets, was known for her profound wisdom. After listening to Clara's woes, Mara said, "The wind has its own spirit, its own journey. Can you command it to cease, or ask the summer's heat to cool at your will?" Clara shook her head. "No, I cannot." Mara continued, "But you can choose where to place your loom, how to adapt, and when to weave. Why fight with what you cannot change, when you can work with what you can control?" Pondering this, Clara decided to place her loom in a room with windows on both sides. When the wind blew, it passed through, carrying with it the heat of the room, but not disturbing her work. She learned to weave during the cooler parts of the day, allowing the wind's gentle touch to guide her threads, making her tapestries even more beautiful. As the days passed, Clara realized that her best creations were born when she focused on her craft, not on fighting the elements. People marveled at the elegance and flow of her work, sensing a harmony in each thread. Years later, a young artist visited Clara, expressing his frustrations with the unpredictable rains that smeared his paintings. Clara, with a knowing smile, shared, "Nature has its dance, and we cannot change its steps, but we can adjust our rhythm, choosing where and how we dance." The artist left with a heart full of understanding. As he walked, he noticed how the town thrived not by battling nature, but by embracing it, by recognizing what they could shape and what they must let be. And so, through the tapestries of a wise weaver and the advice of an old sage, the town learned the timeless lesson of harmony, of focusing on the threads they could weave and letting the winds dance through their stories. As the tales of Clara's wisdom spread far and wide, they reached the ears of a seasoned sailor named Adrian. He had sailed countless seas, battled ferocious storms, and witnessed the wrath and beauty of nature in all its forms. Intrigued by the tale of the weaver, who learned to dance with the wind, Adrian decided to visit Clara. Upon his arrival, the two exchanged stories of their experiences. Clara spoke of her loom and the wind, while Adrian regaled her with the tales of the vast, unpredictable sea and the challenge of navigating its ever-changing moods. "One thing always perplexed me," Adrian began. "The sea is untamable, the winds unpredictable, There were days when the winds blew against us, making it impossible to move forward. We sailors often feel at the mercy of nature's whims. Clara, reflecting on her own experiences, responded, "Just as I cannot command the wind to stop, you cannot control the sea's waves or the direction of the winds. But isn't there something you can do with your ship when the winds are unfavorable?" Adrian thought for a moment, then replied, "Yes, we adjust our sails." Clara's eyes sparkled with understanding. "Just as I learned to place my loom and weave in harmony with the wind, perhaps there's a way for you to harness the wind's power, even when it seems to work against you." Inspired by this conversation, Adrian returned to his ship with a renewed sense of purpose. He began studying the winds more closely, observing their patterns and behavior. He realized that while he couldn't change the wind's direction, he could adjust his sails to harness its energy and use it to his advantage. Drawing from his vast knowledge of the sea and from the wisdom shared by Clara, Adrian designed a new kind of sail. It was flexible, adjustable, and allowed the ship to move smoothly, even when the winds blew from an unexpected direction. On his next voyage, as the winds began to change, the crew watched in amazement as their ship glided effortlessly against them. By adjusting the sails just right, they could channel the wind's force to propel the ship forward. It was a revelation. Instead of cursing the unpredictable winds, the sailors learned to embrace them, turning the challenges into opportunities. News of Adrian's ingenious sail spread throughout the land. Sailors from neighboring towns and distant shores visited him, eager to learn his technique. And every time he shared his knowledge, Adrian would recount the story of Clara, the weaver, who taught him the value of working in harmony with nature. One day, a great celebration was held in the town in honor of Clara and Adrian. People from all walks of life, from weavers to sailors, gathered to share their stories of how they had learned to harness nature's challenges and turn them into opportunities. As the festivities continued, a young child asked Clara, "Why can't we just make the winds and the sea do what we want?" Clara, looking out at the vast ocean, replied, "Nature, with all its might and unpredictability, reminds us of our place in the world. We are but a small part of this vast universe. Instead of trying to control around us, we must learn to adjust, adapt, and flow. The winds may not always be in our favor, but with the right perspective and ingenuity, we can set up our sails to catch even the most challenging gusts." Adrian, joining the conversation, added, "The sea has taught me respect, patience, and resilience. It's not about conquering the waves, but learning to ride them." The sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the horizon. The sea shimmered, reflecting the myriad colors of the sky. The gentle breeze carried the laughter and songs of the people, creating a symphony of gratitude and understanding. As night fell, the townspeople sat around bonfires sharing tales and wisdom from their own journeys. The stories varied, but a common thread ran through them all. The realization that true strength and progress come not from battling nature, but from learning to dance with it. The celebrations became an annual tradition, drawing people from far and wide. It was a reminder of the timeless lessons of harmony, adaptability, and the beauty of embracing the winds of change. And so, in a town nestled between the forest and the sea, tales of a weaver and a sailor continued to inspire generations, teaching them the art of settling their sails and weaving their stories in harmony with the rhythms of nature. The star that dared to shine. In a galaxy far, far away, there was a small star named Lyria. She was not the biggest or the brightest among her peers. For eons, she burned quietly, blending in with the other stars, unnoticed and unremarkable. One day, she heard whispers from planets and moons that the universe was facing darkness. The ancient star, the source of inspiration for all stars, was fading. The galaxies were yearning for a new kind of light. Lyria felt a stirring within her core. She wondered, what if I could shine brighter? What if I could bring something new to the universe? The idea excited her, but she hesitated. For shining brighter meant standing out and potentially drawing criticism. Despite her fears, Lyria decided to explore this new power within her. She began to shine differently, emitting colors and patterns the universe had never seen before. At first, the other stars were taken aback. Why can't she just shine like the rest of us? They whispered among themselves. Lyria's new radiance did not sit well with some. They felt threatened, believing that the introduction of such novelty could disrupt the status quo. A few stars began to mock her, saying, "Who does she think she is? Trying to be the next ancient star?" Yet, as days turned into nights, something magical happened. Planets began to orbit closer to Lyria, captivated by her unique light. Faraway galaxies sent messages of appreciation for her refreshing brilliance. She became a beacon of inspiration for many young stars who had been too afraid to experiment with their shine. Lyria soon realized a profound truth. Not everyone would appreciate her new light, and that was okay. It wasn't about being liked by all. It was about fulfilling her true potential and inspiring others to do the same. Over time, even some of her skeptics acknowledged the beauty she brought to the universe. They realized that the discomfort they felt was not because of Lyria's shine, but their own reluctance to evolve. And so, in a corner of the universe, a once unremarkable star named Lyria taught everyone a valuable lesson. Sometimes, standing out and doing something new can be met with resistance. but that is only a testament to the transformative power. For in the end, it's not about being liked by everyone. It's about blazing your unique trail and illuminating the path for others. With each passing day, Lyria's luminescence only grew. Planets with diverse life forms found themselves adjusting to her new brightness. On one such planet, named Elara, the creatures had never seen such colors in the sky before. The Illyrians were small, bioluminescent beings that communicated through color. With Lyria's new patterns of light, their society experienced a renaissance of art, literature, and communication. News of Lyria's influence reached even the distant corners of the universe. She was no longer just another star. She was a phenomenon. Astral travelers and cosmic poets traveled across galaxies to witness Lyria's brilliance firsthand. Tales of her audacity were shared in interstellar gatherings, and her story inspired countless celestial beings to find their unique voice and identity. But Lyria's rapid rise to prominence was not without challenges. A group of elder stars, known as the Council of Luminance, convened to discuss the ramifications of Lyria's actions. The council, stewards of traditional star behavior, worried that Lyria's unpredictable patterns could throw cosmic balance into chaos. Glimbra, the eldest among them, expressed her concerns. Change is natural, but what Lyria brings is too abrupt. We have always followed a certain code, a specific rhythm. Her brilliance, while mesmerizing, may destabilize our harmony. Another star, named Polarn, countered. But can we ignore the innovation and inspiration she has sparked? It's not just about her brightness, it's about the message she sends. A message of hope, individuality, and courage. The council decided to invite Lyria to their cosmic meeting. Floating amidst the vast darkness, surrounded by the most influential stars of the universe, Lyria felt a mix of awe and apprehension. Glimbra began. Lyria, your glow has captured the attention of the entire universe. While many admire your courage, there are concerns about the rapidity of changes you have introduced. So tell us, what drives this transformation? For composure, Lyria responded. From eons, I have observed, listened, and learned. I sensed a longing in the cosmos, an unfulfilled desire for something new. My change was not just for myself, but for the universe that yearned for evolution. I believe in a harmony that evolves and grows, not one that remains static. A hushed murmur passed through the council. They had expected defiance, but Lyria's words were thoughtful and sincere. The discussions lasted for what felt like millennia. Stars shared their experiences, reflecting on their purpose and the essence of existence. And by the end, it became clear that while Lyria had disrupted the norm, she also breathed life into the universe that had unknowingly become complacent. So it was decided that Lyria would not be curbed, but rather stars, wishing to explore their potential, could seek her counsel. She would guide them in finding their unique luminescence without disrupting the delicate cosmic balance. As time passed, a new era dawned in the universe. Stars, planets,
and even black holes began to explore their identities beyond their traditional roles. Lyria, once an outlier, now stood at the forefront of a movement, symbolizing change, courage, and innovation. Many eons later, as newer stars were born, they would hear tales of the brave star that dared to be different. They would learn of Lyria's journey, from obscurity to luminary, and the ripple effect she had on the entire universe. And on Ilara, the bioluminescent Illyrians would celebrate an annual festival called Lyria's Glow, where they would paint the skies with colors, recreating the patterns Lyria once showered upon them. The festival was a reminder that change, while initially daunting, can lead to unforeseen beauty and growth. Lyria's legacy was not just her brightness, but the message she imparted, that true greatness arises not from conformity, but from the courage to embrace one's unique self. It was a lesson that would be passed down through cosmic generations, echoing in the vast expanse of the universe forever. Good night. May you find the courage to shine in your unique way, just like Lyria.
In a quaint village surrounded by an age-old forest, there lived an old man named Alias and a curious child named Leo. Their homes were simple, but their conversations were deep and expansive. One evening, as the cerulean sky melted into shades of lavender, Leo asked, "Why does the forest stand so silently, Alias? Even when the world around it changes?" Alias, with that warm, deep resonance that made one feel they were wrapped in a soft blanket of wisdom, began, "The forest, my dear, is the oldest listener. While we hurry, while we chatter, the forest just is. It's there in its sheer existence, absorbing the world's symphony without getting lost in it." Leo looked puzzled. "But I've never heard the forest's voice." Chuckling softly, Alias responded, "The forest doesn't shout, it whispers. But to hear that whisper, you must quiet the cacophony within yourself first. The trees, the leaves, even the ancient rocks, they teach us the essence of being. They endure the seasons, the storms, and the sun, remaining rooted in their essence." Thinking deeply, Leo inquired, "So what does the forest whisper when one truly listens?" Alias leaned forward, eyes reflecting the depth of countless sunsets he had witnessed. "It whispers, be here now. Embrace the present. Let go of the need to control. Accept the dance of life, its ups, its downs. They're fleeting, like passing clouds. You, however, remain." Feeling an urge to understand this better, Leo said, How do I listen? How do I become like the forest? Elias, taking a thoughtful pause, replied, "First, acknowledge the storms within you. Accept them. And then, like the falling leaves, let them go. When you sit in silence, don't aim to fight your thoughts. Just watch them. The forest doesn't resist the changing seasons, it merely exists in them." Inspired, Leo attempted to embrace the silence, trying each day as dawn painted the world in its golden glow. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, Leo began to hear the subtle whispers of the forest. One serene evening, he shared with Elias, "I heard the forest. It told me you are, and that's enough." Elias, smiling like one does when witnessing a flower bloom, replied, "That's the ageless song of the universe, my child. In our chase for more, we often overlook that in our very essence, we are whole. All the outside noise, desires, fears, judgments, they come and go. But your true self remains, steadfast and serene, like the forest." Years drifted by. Leo, now older, approached Elias. "You taught me the forest's echo, but how do I hold on to it amidst the world's noise?" Elias, with the gentle gravity only years can bring, said, "Remember, the world's song is ever changing. But if you carry the forest's echo within, you'll move with grace and balance. It's not about avoiding the world's dance, but joining it with a heart that knows its own rhythm." And there they sat, in harmony with the world and themselves, resonating with the silent echo of the forest, reminding them to be rooted, to be present, and to understand the simplicity of being. As the weeks turned into months, and months into years, the bond between Elias and Leo grew deeper, and their conversations were more profound. The village often marveled at the transformation of young Leo, who now emanated an aura of calm, reminiscent of the old trees of the forest. The world outside the village had evolved. Technologies advanced, cities expanded, and the rhythm of life quickened. But within the confines of the village, time seemed to have its own pace, unhurried and reflective. And youngsters from the village, including Leo, would often journey outside to explore the bustling world, seeking opportunities and experiences. Yet they'd always return, drawn from the whispers of the forest and the wisdom of Elias. One day, a group of travelers visited the village. They came with gadgets that connected them to a world far beyond the horizons of the village. Curious, Leo approached them. "What brings you here?" he inquired. "We've heard tales of a village that time forgot, of a forest that speaks, and of an old man with timeless wisdom." One traveler responded, a device in hand capturing the surroundings. Leo, gazing at the gadget, asked, "What's that?" "This," the traveler began, "is a way to connect with the world, to know everything that's happening, to be everywhere without moving. For the first time, Leo felt a strange pull. The world outside beckoned him. Over the next few days, he interacted more with the travelers, learning about the wonders beyond. The idea of being connected, of knowing and being everywhere was enticing. As time passed, Leo found himself more engrossed in the devices the travelers carried. The quiet whispers of the forest grew fainter, overshadowed by the constant buzz of information. Ilias observed this change silently. One evening, as the travelers prepared to leave, he beckoned Leo for a walk. They meandered through the familiar forest path until they reached a clearing where the oldest tree of the forest stood. "You seem distant," Ilias remarked, his voice carrying the weight of concern. "I'm amazed, Ilias. There's a vast world out there. So much to know, so much to see." Leo's voice quivered with excitement. Ilias nodded. The allure of the unknown is powerful. But remember, amidst the noise, you might lose the song. Leo looked puzzled. But isn't it wise to know, to explore? "Yes," Ilias began. "Exploration is the essence of life. But true exploration is not just about gathering information. It's about understanding, about diving deep, about finding connections. The devices, they show you the surface. The forest, it teaches you depth. One gives you knowledge, the other, wisdom." Leo pondered on this. He recalled the serenity he felt when he first heard the forest's whisper, the profound sense of being. The devices offered a different thrill, but it was fleeting, momentary. "They are leaving tomorrow," Leo mused aloud. "They offered to take me with them, to show me the world." Ilias, looking deep into the horizon, replied, "Every path has its lessons. If your heart yearns to go, you should. But carry the forest's echo with you. Amidst the skyscrapers and the digital symphony, find moments of silence. Let the forest guide you, even when you are miles away from it." Leo felt torn. The world outside offered adventures and experiences he had never imagined. Yet the forest and Ilias' wisdom anchored him. The next morning, as the travelers prepared to leave, Leo approached them. "I wish to journey with you, to see the world, but with the promise to return." The travelers welcomed him, and as the village faded in the distance, Leo ventured into the unknown, carrying with him the silent echo of the forest and the lessons from Ilias. The world outside was overwhelming. The pace, the noise, the constant influx of information. And there were days Leo felt lost, adrift into the sea of connectivity. But in those moments, he'd close his eyes, and the forest's whisper would guide him back. Months turned into years. Leo traveled far and wide, experienced the marvels of the modern world, but he also found pockets of nature, places where the forest's echo resonated. He realized that while the devices connected him to the world, nature connected him to himself. One day, feeling the pull of home, Leo decided to return to the village. As he approached, He saw the familiar outline of the ancient forest and felt the embrace of its timeless wisdom. Elias, now much older, greeted him with a knowing smile. The world outside, it's enchanting, isn't it? Leo, with tears in his eyes, responded, "It is. But the forest, it's grounding. I traveled the world, seeking connections, but the deepest connection I found was right here." Elias nodded. The forest's echo, it's not just in the trees or the wind, it's within you, a reminder that amidst the chaos, there is a stillness, a home, a grounding. The two sat, absorbing the serenity of the forest. Two souls connected by the timeless wisdom of nature and the silent echo that resonated within. The Tale of the Wise Lamb. Once upon a time, in a far-off meadow, there was a flock of sheep led by an old and experienced shepherd. Every day, the shepherd would guide the flock to a particular spot for grazing, and every night, he'd lead them back to a familiar resting area. The routine was the same day in and day out. In this flock, there was a young lamb named Leela. She was just like the other lambs in many ways. Fluffy, white, a bit mischievous, and always eager to play. But Leela had one distinguishing feature, an insatiable curiosity. One day, as a shepherd led the flock to the usual grazing spot, Leela noticed a patch of vibrant green grass in the distance. "Why don't we ever go there?" she asked one of the older sheep. "That's not the way," replied the old sheep. "We always grazed here, and it's been good enough for us." Leela couldn't resist the allure of the untouched meadow. So the next day, she decided to venture off by herself. To her delight, the grass was even more delicious than it looked, and the spot was filled with colorful butterflies and melodious birds. It was paradise. However, Leela's absence was soon noticed. When she returned to the flock, she was met with disapproving eyes. "You shouldn't stray away," said one sheep. "It's dangerous out there." "But there's a beautiful meadow just beyond the hill," Leela protested. "The grass is fresh and sweet. Why don't we try grazing here?" The elder sheep scoffed. "We've been grazing here long before you were born. Tradition is tradition." Leela sighed, but wasn't defeated. Every day, she'd venture out to the new meadow and come back to share tales of her discoveries. A few younger lambs began to take notice and joined her on her daily expeditions. One evening, as they were enjoying the new pasture, an unexpected rainstorm approached. Leela and her friends sought shelter under a grove of trees. To their surprise, the old grazing spot was flooded when they returned. The elder sheep were miserable and wet. Seeing this, Leela approached them and said, "Why don't you come with us? There's shelter in the grove and plenty of grass." Hesitant at first,
the elder sheep eventually decided to give it a try. They were amazed at the beauty of the new pasture and grateful for the shelter the grove provided. And from that day on, the entire flock grazed in the new meadow. The elder sheep realized that sometimes it is wise to question tradition and not simply follow the herd. Leela's bravery and independent thinking had shown them a better way. And every night, as the sun set over the newfound paradise, Leela would tell tales of the world beyond the meadow, encouraging the young lambs to think for themselves and always stay curious. The sheep slept peacefully, knowing that the future was bright, with lambs like Leela leading the way. So the lesson here is, sometimes following the herd without questioning can hold you back from discovering better pastures, the greener grasses. Always think for yourself and be open to new possibilities.